Philosophical about the way he looks, and he's not upset by the honest reaction of children.
I find it extremely entertaining talking to a 5-year-old about why I've only got one eye, or look slightly odd. And I've always been impressed by the simple way that the 5-year-old is just interested and enjoys the conversation on the bus with a complete stranger about what it's like to have only one eye.
This is Henry at 21 when he was studying to become a barrister, and he's still working.
If I went in some absolutely extreme state, then it might be different. But certainly, having an eye removed, having the shape looking a bit odd, losing all the nerves and muscles in the left-hand side of my face, so that when I smile in a happy way, as I understand it, the right-hand side of my face moves, but the left hand doesn't move a bit. It simply, for some reason, doesn't worry me.
Henry was 42 when he first discovered that he had a rare facial cancer. It started under his left eye and gradually progressed. Henry's proud to have a family who supported him through all his surgery.
I mean, my wife and children don't appear to pay any attention to what I look like. They don't get worried. They don't express relief that I'm not too bad. And I think that helps me as the patient enormously, because I'm not being reminded of it. I don't have people sympathizing. I don't have people saying I wish they'd done a better job. And that leaves me just being me.
Possibly the gradual change in his appearance made it slightly easier for Henry and his family to deal with. A sudden change can be traumatic in a different way. Dr. Stephen Marquardt was only 4 years old when his mother's face was badly damaged in a car accident.
My grandmother and aunt just took me in, and actually, you know, I was walking ahead of them down the hallway of my grandmother's house. My mother walked out of the bedroom she was staying in at the time, and her eyes were all bloodshot, her nose was squashed on her face, she had no upper teeth, her jaws were wired together, and her face was all cut and sutured up, and she looked like a monster. And I just about had a heart attack. I turned around, and then she mumbled, "Stevie," you know, "hi," through her wired jaws, and I turned around and ran out of the room screaming. And I didn't trust my grandmother or my aunt or my uncles or anybody for several weeks after that. I wouldn't have anything to do with them. She wasn't my mother anymore. She didn't act the same. She didn't look the same. She didn't talk the same. It was just, and then everybody said, "This is your mother," and it was very difficult. At 4.5, at that point, or 5 years old, it was like, "Here's your mother back. Have a nice day." Interestingly, the surgeon who did take care of her at the time of her accident was a maxillofacial surgeon like I was. And I think that probably at some point level, maybe that's why I got into it. Life is a crazy thing. Crazy things happen, and sometimes you don't realize where you've been until you look in your rearview mirror, you know.
Stephen's childhood experience not only led him into a career as a surgeon, it also motivated his search for the rules of beauty, and he found his first clues in the writings of a Greek philosopher.
Remember Pythagoras?
The square of the hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yes, him.
He claimed not only to quantify or to understand the secret or the code of beauty, he claimed to see beauty in the universe. That's a pretty big statement. I'm looking for beauty in the face. He says he found it for the universe. That's pretty amazing.
What Pythagoras realized is that plants and animals grow according to fairly precise mathematical laws. It's not just chance that flowers unfold in beautiful patterns, and the Greeks found the patterns were based on a particular geometrical ratio. But it wasn't until the Renaissance that an Italian did the maths. He figured out that the key to beauty was the ratio of 1 to 1.618.
Grazie. Oh, Miss Linguini, wait. Take your glasses off. Now let your hair come tumbling down. beautiful. And yet, and you're not going to believe this, 1.618 actually works.
Do something like measure the distance from the floor to your navel, and then from your navel to your head. If you're well proportioned, the ratio should be 1 to 1.618, and that ratio is seen all over the beautiful body.
People started noticing it. Artists noticed it, the width of the mouth, in a beautiful face, for example.
Yeah.
Not in any face, but it had to be beautiful. If a face was beautiful, the width of the mouth was exactly 1.618 times the width of the nose.
Really?
If the face wasn't beautiful, that wasn't the case. Dentists,
Yeah.
in their dental work, noticed that the upper front tooth was 1.618 times as wide as the next tooth over, the lateral incisor.
Oh.
So the central incisor was 1.618 times the width of the lateral incisor, the next tooth over.
Wonderful. Give me some more examples.
Your fingers, your fingers are each called phalanges, and each bone in the finger is called a phalanx. And the phalanx that's the closest to your knuckle here is 1.618 times the phalanx that's in the middle, and that's 1.618 times the length of the phalanx at the end, which is your fingernail. So that was kind of amazing. This number would come up over and over again.
Now remember, Zara, will all this theory work on a real person like her?
Flick head back a little bit, just that's it. That's it.
This is what's called a golden divider. It divides different line areas or distances from into 1 and 1.618, which is the golden ratio. And in a beautiful face, we'll see that ordinarily the width of the mouth is 1.618 times the width of the nose. And it does in Zara, exactly. If we look at the teeth, we can see that ordinarily, show me your teeth and smile a little bit, the width of the upper front tooth is 1.618 times the width of the tooth right next to it, and the same on the other side. The width of the upper front tooth is 1.618 times the tooth next to it. It's amazing how this proportion is repeated over and over again in a beautiful face. And the same thing with Zara. If I do the width of her mouth, I'm sorry, I'll do it again. I'm a surgeon. I'm used to sharp things. I hardly ever cut myself. Okay, so if I do the width of her mouth to the width of her face, the camera should be able to see that the width of the mouth is 1.618 times the distance from the mouth to the corner of the cheek.
And it is.
Anyway, this relationship holds up over and over again in the face. And Zara's a great example. That's why she's so pretty.
So Zara's face fits the golden ratio.
It's not bad either.
And the golden ratio, 1 to 1.618, seems to apply to all beautiful faces. Now, this idea that maths can explain a beautiful face, any beautiful face, has been taken even further by Stephen Marquardt.
So if I look at the nose is a triangle. On the front view, on the side view, the nose is a triangle again.
And in a beautiful face, the sides of the triangle are 1.618 times greater than the base. And from a triangle, you can build a pentagon.
What's the most attractive configuration of the face, the most attractive expression? Smiling.
Yeah.
When I smile,
Oh!
you start to see the pentagons
yes,
here.
I do. There.
Okay.
It's there,